What's going on, everyone? The Bad Habits here, aka TBH. Welcome to Old Habits Die Hard. What happened to the intro? Wait. Quickly, actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I need to give my shout outs really quickly. Based on my viewer retention rate, you might be watching this part of the video and you'll probably not finish it. So, very quickly, let me give shout outs. Queen Plays 22, Fake Eric, aka Fake Name Game, Twin WrestlePod, The Black Enigma, Movies and Beyond, I Am Cincinnati Man, and last but not least, Eerie Eric Beats. Thank you to all those I named. Of course, there's always more. Please give them a follow, a subscribe, let them know I sent you. Thank you. Now, cue the intro. After all that. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Hope I didn't throw you off with the intro there. Today, obviously, we're talking about Creed 3. Fair warning, Creed 1 is one of my favorite movies of all time, and Creed 2 is a good movie. But that's another video. Today we're here to do Creed 3. This movie I'm really late to, a year behind if you will. Fair warning, now I am just now seeing this movie even though I bought it last year. Shit, I could check the receipt. I bought it when it was brand new on 4K. The reason why is because my brother and I were supposed to go see this in theaters, and unfortunately, with our very different schedules, it just didn't work out. I bought this and then I felt a little guilty about it, so I've been putting it on hold. But now it's been a year and it's time. I spent my money. Also, just speaking of this, I really advise no one ever do this. Do not buy a DVD or Blu-ray, whatever it is. Do not buy it and have it for a fucking year before you test it. Because this copy, the 4K one specifically, this one crashed out during the epic fight at the end. So, joke's on me. Luckily, there's a Blu-ray in there, but yeah, I was really pissed. Instead of reading it from Wikipedia, I'm just gonna read it from this display case here. And I quote: "After dominating the boxing world and with his career and family life thriving, Adonis Creed finds himself challenged in the ring by his childhood friend Damien, a former boxing prodigy fresh out of prison. But this will be more than just a fight. Adonis must put his future on the line to battle a man with nothing to lose." End quote. This movie had a lot to live up to. It's been 5 years since Creed 2, and this is a huge landmark, actually. I need to mention this early on. The cinematography is really good in this one. The lighting really stands out. There's that really cool scene. It's even in the trailer where, Michael B. Jordan has a blue backlight and Jonathan Majors. Yeah. Let me use the character's name on that one. He goes by Diamond Dame, but his real name's Damian Anderson. Whew, man. We're going to get into it, but this is one hell of a performance, y'all. I know there's a huge controversy around this man, so I'm just talking about the character. That's it. I wasn't a big fan of how he was kind of it felt retroactively inserted into Creed's past. I gotta be honest with you. There's no mention of him in the first or the second film, and also Dame has this finisher he likes to call it checkmate. That's his final blow or whatever. That is not used until this film. Never mentioned. I feel like that would have came up at some point. So I don't know. Regardless of how you feel about that, they do have a good, interesting backstory behind it all. It is a little forced, but it's a good story behind it all, so I'm going to give a pass there. Adonis and Dane, yeah, they're a great duo. A very good pairing. really unfortunate that this probably won't go any further, at least not with the same actor portraying the character. It's possible someone else may take over. It's a damn shame too, because Dame he's the one who's really alive, performance wise. Everyone's trying their best. It's just that Dame is, he's a plot device, and he's the one literally moving it forward. Also returning, we have Tessa Thompson, who plays Bianca. Now, she is Adonis's wife. They also have a young daughter named Amara. But let me talk to you about Bianca before I get into Amara. Bianca really gets an upgrade, especially from the last film. She's great in the first film as well, but this one, her story is really coming full circle. Her and Dame, their story is actually fairly similar in a way, because Bianca's biggest issue is she is progressively losing her hearing. Touch the mic there. Yeah, she's going deaf progressively, and she's also a musician and producer, songwriter, all that jazz. The meat of her story, weird analogy. Her whole thing is that she has stopped singing to, literally preserve what she has left as far as hearing. And the reason why I say those two, Damien and Bianca, are similar is because Damien he's not letting go of his dream, no matter what it costs him and who he has to take down in his path. He's gonna get what he wants. And her whole thing is she gave up her dreams, for a happier life in the long run. Although he's been physically released from prison, in here he has never left the fucking building. Amara, which is Adonis's and Bianca's daughter, she is completely deaf, so there's often times where they're communicating to her via sign language. It's really cute how her relationship to her parents is. It's goddamn adorable. Maybe because they picked a cute kid, I don't know. But who knows where this is going? It may not happen in Creed 4, but they're definitely setting her up to, possibly take over after Michael B. Jordan. I don't know if they're going to keep the same actor and just, wait for the years to progress, or they're just going to get someone else. But this one, this actor right here, she's great. And lastly, I want to talk about Phylicia Rashad, y'all. Now, if you don't know Phylicia Rashad, you probably do. Here's a picture of her. She is Adonis's adoptive mother. Now, the backstory with her is she adopted Adonis, who is her late husband's bastard son. Right off the rip, this woman here, she gets points for, she literally went out of her way to find her late husband's, man, this is some shit, y'all. Do y'all understand this? She comes back to, frankly, fill the Rocky void, if you will. Now, in the last two films, Rocky had been sick and he'd been in recovery, yada yada. It's a bit of a staple in these films. You gotta have someone either die or nearly die. It happened to Mickey in the previous film. Off screen, we had the death of Adrian and Paulie, of course, from Rocky. It checks that box, but, a spoiler alert, she does pass away in this film. Unfortunately, she has a history of strokes, apparently in between films, and during this film, unfortunately, she has another one, and that takes her out. I will say her death came right at the time of a much needed third act motivation before the big fight. As cliche as it is, Michael B. Jordan and Phylicia Rashad, those two, they fucking killed that scene, and it was beautiful. I dread the day. I love you, Mom. Let me talk to you really quickly about Damon. First, he appears a bit of a gentle giant. Sure, they make him look all ragged and whatnot, and he just got out of prison. But for the most part, he seems a little quiet and approachable. Clearly someone you wouldn't fuck with. The thing is about Damon, you never know when he's gonna snap. One thing I love about this film is that it is about an underdog, but you hate the underdog. Dame just gets out of prison and he's trying to hurt people at this point. So really hard to get behind him. I love that these two they're like Batman and fucking Joker at this point. Adonis and Bianca, they have this beautiful mansion with an infinity pool, recording studio. Shit, he looks bored. He's eating ice cream. It's a great life, it looks like. Then you cut to Dame and he's got his raggedy ass Carhartt on. He's just it's a little on the nose, but it's kind of set up to the first Creed film in a way. In that film, there's a championship match set to happen, and then one of the contenders gets injured, so there needs to be a replacement. And that's where Adonis Creed comes in Creed 1. In this film, it is set between the current champion Chavez versus Drago. Yeah, that Drago from Creed 2. Yeah, that big motherfucker. Unfortunately, he gets taken out not taken out like murdered. He gets injured, attacked, if you will. With him being injured, Damien sort of is able to finesse his way in. While I'm at it, major spoiler alert, it's revealed that Damien set it up all along. The attacker was one of Damien's prison cellmates. Damien. Sorry, I'm laughing because it's so stupid. Dame actually sent a picture of the attacker and himself literally shaking hands in a photo that was sent to Adonis's mom's house. So, what? Michael B. Jordan was probably having a great time with this version of Creed, Frankly, it's a little boring in the second film. I love the first one. I can't say that enough. But second one's it's just a good movie. It's fine. But in this one, he's more of a next evolution, if you will. We open with a rematch to the ending fight from Creed 1. In this case, Creed gets the dub and then retires as the undisputed champion. And then it cuts to about 3 years later, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this version, he's a little bit more of a sellout now. He's a big corporate guy. He's on billboards. He's more of a businessman than, he's not a boxer anymore. He's also hitting the bottle a lot. There's a point where he's, kind of plotting against Dame. He sets up a championship match for Dame, and he's just, I don't know. He feels different than he did in the first film, and that's character growth. It's really fun to watch and engaging. I mentioned earlier how Dame sort of just feels forced into the story. There's no mention of him in the other films. No reference to my knowledge at all. With that being said, I noticed that the script sort of had Bianca. She was sort of like us, asking all the questions we wanted to ask. And often she would try, and then Donnie would put up his barriers, which, hey, when you're comfortable, we'll talk. I understand, totally. I don't want to rush anyone because people are working through shit, and it's not fair for you to rush them just because you want answers. She totally understood that, gave him his space. Unfortunately, there came a point where he exploded. Also, I sided with her. I want to see you healthy, but you gotta get your shit together. Can't take it out on us, man. I don't know if it's enough because it really takes a while to get to the answers, which may be fine for some, but for me, since this feels forced, I don't know if it's enough, y'all. It turns out Donnie and Dame were in the same group home and they were beaten by this man named Leon. That is the reason why Damien ended up going to prison. Donnie ended up beating the hell out of Leon at a store, and it became a big public scene. Dame drew a gun. Shit, Donnie dipped on him, and then, can't say I blame him. He was young as hell. What was he gonna do? But Dame got arrested, and the rest is history. Now, this is a Rocky film, so of course we're gonna get a training montage. How does this one hold up? I like this one a lot. Maybe I'm being nostalgic once again, but Creed 1 had the most memorable soundtrack of all the three. Yep, keep praising that film. Yep, call it what you want, but Creed 1 had the better music. You know, fighting hard, fighting stronger, waiting for my moment, Lord knows. There was a bunch of bangers on that one. And this one actually kind of crept up on me a little bit. There's a few songs from this soundtrack I would highly recommend. The end credits song, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, I believe that's what it's called. You know, I've been banging that to sort of get me in the mindset for this review. If you're a fan of Kalani, she gets to perform a song that we see Bianca working on early on in the film, so that's a nice little payoff. And she appears on the soundtrack. That's a good one as well. Although this film doesn't have a lot of like vulgar language in the script, you know. I think that's because they used all the fuck and nigga budget in the music. I swear to God, they get away with it a lot. At one point, I was like, damn, they might get an R for this one, just for the music, because, you know, the script, it's fine. You know, it's PG-13 as fuck, but, you know, J. Cole and Dreamville and all them, yeah, they were not playing around. They were not going for the white audience at all. This film tries to act like Adonis is older than Dame. You know, in reality, it's in reverse. You know, Michael B. Jordan is younger than the actor that plays Dame. But my point was, they try to act like Michael B. Jordan, you know, he's like super old. You know, he's 35 the year this released. I assume he's like 33, 34 during filming. So, you know, he's fairly young. They try to call him old and shit. And at one point, you know, they try to make him a little rough. So they have him not shave for a week or two. Trying to act like this man isn't gorgeous. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty here. So now we're in the third act after our training montage. Adonis and his family, you know, they're rifting apart. He just lost his mother. Everything's sort of just gone to shit. And of course, we're leading up to our final battle here. I wish I could say there was a big surprise waiting for me for this final battle. Unfortunately, the internet has really spoiled it for me really early on. I don't even think the movie came out officially before I knew, you know, that it got a little fantastical, if you will, inspired by anime and whatnot. Yeah, I wish I could say that it was a surprise. It wasn't, but oh man, I enjoyed it. Let me tell you straight up. At this point, you know, we're at like what, the 10th film or so, somewhere around there in the Rocky franchise. We know what the final battle is gonna look like, you know. I found that this one actually took a chance, and I think it paid off in the long run. But yeah, you know, they take out the crowd and the crew and all that, and it's just this fucking haze and fog around the ring, you know. And then another point where they bring in the jail cell bars, and the fight itself is shot really well. There's a bunch of slow-mo in there, which, you know, it's a boxing movie. I don't have an issue with it at all. You really feel some of the blows in this one. Yeah, at one point, Damon's mouthpiece, he starts to pull it out, and there's a tooth in there. They definitely don't shy away from how brutal of a sport this is, especially when they run down Adonis's, you know, previous injuries. Oof, where's Will Smith when you need him?
Richard!
No, not for that.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
So Donnie wins the big fight, you know, right when he delivers his final KO. You know, we get our Rocky theme and a little bit of the OG Creed theme as well. I understand, you know, Rocky putting it in for just a moment there because, yeah, it's a Rocky film nonetheless without Rocky. So you gotta pay your respects. But, you know, I could have used more Creed 1 theme. Just saying. After the big fight, I love that Adonis goes to Dame's locker room, who... It's lonely as fuck in there. You know, they love you when you're hot and, you know, not when you're not. What? That was fucking terrible. I'm a prep cook, not a goddamn wordsmith, okay? The motherfucker was alone, alright? I really appreciate that he took the time at all to make amends. These two, they could have been on screen together for sequels, up to like Creed 6 or something. That would have been awesome. It would have been like Rocky and Apollo, that relationship. And this may surprise you, considering this is a film about boxing and whatnot. It's a really emotional film. But my favorite scene in the entire thing, it wasn't the final fight or any of the fights. Nothing like that. It was a simple scene between Adonis and Dame at a diner. I love that scene to pieces. So, overall, I'm going to give this film a rating of added to the collection. If you're new around here, you may wonder, what the fuck does that mean? I don't do numbers on my scale, so added to the collection is essentially a 4 out of 5. Really quickly, let's run through. You got fuck this movie at the very bottom. Next up, waste of damn time. Next up, stream it. Next up, added to the collection. Lastly, New Religion. Now that's the rare rating for, those are like my favorite movies. So, hope that explains it to you. I really enjoyed this film overall. You can't really be upset. It's the second best Creed film. Take that for what you will. I've been the Bad Habits, aka TBH, y'all, and I'm signing out. Deuces.